What's up everybody, it's AJ with etrailer.com. Today we're going to be checking out this UWS low profile crossover style toolbox. It's going to be a great way to keep all your tools organized, not spread out amongst the bed, and locked up safe. Let's check it out. So low profile means it's going to not sit up too high on the bed rails. If you look at it towards the back window here, it's still well under headrests. It's tinted window so you can't see it as easily, but it's well under that, so it's not going to block into your view when looking through the rearview mirror. Now the crossover style means it's going to have this gap at the bottom so you can still use your bed for items. So we got a ladder slid under there. I like that you don't have to sacrifice your whole bed if you drop a toolbox in here. So it's not as deep as some other toolboxes, but I like the fact that you can throw things underneath it. It's going to be 8.6 cubic feet of space on the inside, but let's actually take a look at the inside and see how much it holds. To open it up, you just pull on one of the latches. It works from either side. Now, only the driver's side is going to lock, so if you lock it over there, you have to unlock it for it to open. Pull on the latch, you can see it comes up on its own and doesn't even come close to the glass. Just like that. So that's nice too if you have your hands full of gear and you pull on that, you don't have to use one hand to lift the lid. It just opens up and goes on its own and doesn't even come close to the glass back there. Looking inside the toolbox, you're going to have a rod that connects both latches, so that's the way they work in unison, but you have the shield here that helps protect it, which I like because if you're throwing gear in there and you're not paying attention, it's going to block that from something hitting and breaking it. With the box open, now you can see the inside a lot better and maybe give you a better idea how much this actually fits in here. We got a bunch of tool cases, and then we have some miscellaneous tools on this tray. I like the sliding tray, that way if it's something you use more often than the other tools, it's right here and easier to reach in and grab from either side because you can slide this tray over to the driver's side or on the passenger side, wherever you need it. Also helps for moving around to put cargo in there too. If you need to get something, you can slide the tray out of the way and grab it. Now it is a plastic tray, so that's actually helpful. It's not going to rattle around as much as some of those metal trays they put in the toolboxes. Looking over at the side, there's actually a screwdriver holder. Let me move this case out of the way so you can see what I'm talking about. But this way you can keep your screwdriver organized and off to the side of the box for easy access. That way they don't take up a bunch of space in the tray, or they're not at the bottom of the toolbox either. Something I will point out though is you want to put the shorter ones here towards the end with the gas strut, because when you go to close it, it could make contact. If we put these in that position and close the lid, it'd be an issue. But because we have the smaller one there, it's not going to make contact. But let me show you what happens if we flip them around. Bring this down, it's going to hit right there. So that would be causing issues or possibly damage your gas strut, which you can replace. So it's not that big a deal. If you do that by accident, you can get another one. Looking at the gas strut, I just want to point out how you replace it. You measure from eyelet to eyelet, so it's going to be about 10 inches on this one. And you look at the force pounds. This one's 45 force pounds. So that's how you can pick out the right one to replace. That way, the lid always works like it's supposed to. Sticking with the lid, if you look up here, the strikers can also be adjusted. So this is what goes into the latch and locks the lid. Now you can back both of these up or loosen them, and you can move it side to side. That way the striker hits here every time and makes a good connection, so it's easy to close the lid. Looking around the outside edge, we have the foam weather seal. Then inside the lid is also foam injected. So not only does that help it keep its structure, but it helps insulate the box. It keeping its structure is nice because if you go to throw something heavy on top of it, if that was hollow, it would dent pretty easily or even damage the lid. This is going to help keep its structure and support it inside. The toolbox installs really easily too. You don't have to drill into your truck bed. It comes with a J-hook that goes up and under the frame rail. You got a washer and a nut that goes on top to tighten it down. It was really easy to do, and it doesn't move back and forth at all. I can shake the whole truck just with these J-hooks on each side. Something else I like to point out about the lid, it's got an overhang. It's gonna be great for when you push it down into position. Now in combination with that weather seal on the inside, it's gonna be harder for the elements to go up and into the box. Looking at the box overall, it's gonna be a black powder coat aluminum, and it's gonna be a flat black matte. So that means it's not gonna be glossy. I like that. I like this texture and color combination better because it's not the shiny kind. It's not going to show you every scratch and dent because as you use the toolbox, it's just going to happen. So I like that this hides it better with that texture and color. Let's look at some measurements top side. So it's going to be 73 inches long. That's from passenger side to driver side. And then from front to back, it's going to be 20 inches wide. Looking at the base, it's going to be 62 inches wide down here, and that's from this end to that end over there. It's going to be 17 inches wide. And then the space underneath the toolbox to the truck bed, at least on this truck, was about 8 inches. So that just gives you a better idea of what you can actually slide under there and store in the truck bed. Talking about the low profile design, it's going to be about 3 inches from the rail here. On the inside, our measurements are going to be 9 inches to here to this lip and 13 up to here. So that just gives you how much vertically you can put something in here and still close the lid. One thing about the crossover style with that gap at the bottom, it might not be able to hold a full 5-gallon bucket. So we're going to put it to the test. I'll set it in there and try and close the lid. And yeah, it won't close on that 5-gallon bucket. So that's just trying to help you give you a better idea of what can be put in here. Overall, I like this toolbox. I prefer the crossover design myself just because I don't sacrifice that whole truck bed. It's nice to have that just in case you guys slide something else in there, you have that space. But at the same time, I'm not looking to take a whole bunch of tools with me. Decent enough to fill the box, but I don't have more than that. Now, if that's what you're looking for, I would look for the one that goes a little bit deeper because that one's gonna be able to store more tools. Another thing that has been pointed out is it's always important for the lids to latch. Open and close. Some people don't like these latches here up front. I don't mind it. It's easy to grab that, but I've talked to some people that like the buttons on the side on the weather guard ones because you can just kind of hit that with your elbow. If your arms are full of tools, you can hit that. The lid pops up far easier than reaching in here and pulling that. So those are some things to think about when you're looking at the toolboxes, but otherwise, I think that about does it. Thanks for hanging out, and I hope this helped.